Welcome to Livestream News. I'm Ross Brand. This is a monthly show that we decided to do on an impromptu basis. My co-host today is Coach Jenny Mustafa Julak, the Audacity coach. And this is the first show that I've hosted on basically almost any other platform. I did one with Zeph on Spreecast earlier this week, but now trying out
Huzzah.
They
said it both ways. They kind of love that. The founders kind of love that we're not sure how to pronounce it. They think that's cool. They kept calling it huzzah or huzzah. I don't know. I can't not say huzzah.
So how quickly until you start hosting the Audacity Lab and your other shows over here?
Already scheduled. My first one is scheduled for Monday. I have to rename it because it used to be called the Audacity Lab Blabs. Mm-hmm. I got to come up with a new name, and it doesn't
Audacity
rhyme.
Lab Huzzah? No.
And I actually got pinged from one of my fellow dames. That sounds weird, but I have a show called Dames on Thrones that I do over on Blab, which is where we talk about Game of Thrones. A bunch of women get together to talk about Game of Thrones. And I got pinged by one of them a little earlier, Shoshana Simpson, who's like, can I delete Blab now if we move Dames over to Huzzah? I'm like, yep, doing it. So it's official. Blab, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So I was planning on hosting my next live stream stars that I do on Monday night. I was planning on doing my next one on Fire Talk. I may have to continue considering this. Probably will stay for Fire Talk for the next one, but this is looking very promising. So tell me what you think. You heard the entire presentation. I heard part of it.
Yep.
What was the big news, if any, from that? What did you take away from that might have changed how you feel about the platform or what have you?
Well, the first thing is we were on an event that was hosted by Justin and Nick, who are the founders and creators of what you're looking at, Huzzah. And it was originally intended for musicians because they come from the musician world, which is why you see some musician-like icons kind of here and there. We don't have them up here right here because Ross hasn't set up the tip jar, but there's a tip jar you can set up.
Yeah, I turned it off for now. I thought it would be a little much on a first broadcast to be asking for tips.
A bit much. But they kind of shared a little bit about that. I'm just looking at my notes over here. And the biggest takeaway I got from that is they are listening to their user base. Mm-hmm. But their user base, this is created for creators. This is meant to be a professional space for your existing audience. It's not a social media platform. I want to reiterate, this is not meant to be a social media platform. So some of the people are frustrated that they can't, click on Shoshana's name and say, oh, I want to follow Shoshana. I know, Jonathan, gasp. I know. It's not a social media platform. It is.
But that's common, right, they said, though, right?
Right. They're working on ways to make the chat room more interactive and make it so that you can say, oh, I'm on Ross's event and I want to click his name and follow him and everything he does from now until forever, which, by the way, as soon as you can do that, you should do that because Ross is great.
Thank you,
but yes, Shoshana, you nailed it. They want us here. They want us here. And they want to listen and they want us to help. And I just think it's amazing. On top of that, when I say they're listening to some of the feedback that they're getting about the pricing structure. So the biggest takeaway that everybody's going to want to hear about is right now, if you look at their pricing page, they've got free, which is their basic plan. They have their creator plan, which is $39 a month. And then I think it's called the professional plan at $199. They're adding a tier between free and creator. I don't know the name of it, but that tier is going to be $15 a month. However, if you use promo code HuzzahMeUp, I don't know how to say that. That promo code, when that goes live next week, you will pay $9 a month indefinitely for that level. Indefinitely.
And what do you get
level,
for that?
You're going to be able to stream for a new level that they're creating that'll be available next week. It's in between free and $39. It's going to be $15. And as long as they offer that service and you sign up pretty soon, right? It'll be $9. The free level does not allow you, or will not allow you when it goes live, right? The free level is not going to allow you to have multiple people in the seats. So that might be a big bummer for people. But
Okay, so we wouldn't be able to do this right
On the free
now on the
level.
free level after the trial
Exactly.
expires, whatever, 30 days or
Exactly. But
whatever it
this
is.
limited offer is starting next week. And the way you'll know that is when you log in to Huzzah at some point next week and you look at your dashboard, it's going to ask you what pricing structure you want to sign up for. And it's going to be, Jonathan, please double check me on this because you were there as well. I think it was 150 concurrent viewers, and a concurrent viewer is the number of people that are all watching at the same time, not the number of eyeballs that have come through your stream. Okay, so that's what when they're talking about that.
Do they track both for you?
I don't know the answer. Yeah, they do. I do know the answer to that because when I did.
Okay. So you'll get your total view when you're.
You do. I got a little bit of that. Unique viewers. Yeah, it's unique viewers watching live at the same time, not unique viewers over the whole thing when they're talking about those different pricing amounts. So that was an important detail. Okay. They call it concurrent viewers.
So what do you like better already about this platform than Blab? Looking at Blab at its best, not at its worst. Like even when you were as gung-ho on Blab as I was, and we were all excited about it, it was a great community, and it was a fairly stable platform, fairly stable at one point, you could say. So what do you like better already that Blab never brought to the table?
And that sounds really weird. But Blab, I always felt like I was just playing roulette, maybe even a Russian version, waiting to see what they were going to do. And, it was in beta. And they were really clear about it's in beta. We can change it as much as we want. And I was on board for that. That's fine. But when they switched, they had the ability to switch directions and add features and whatnot. So I didn't love the fact that I felt like I had no skin in the game. Here, I feel like I can have skin in the game. I fully intend to start at that $39 level, which as a content producer who has made a lot of money, being able to demonstrate what I do in a way that's less scary for clients so that they're willing to say, oh yeah, I could talk to her one-on-one, I'm ready. Blab really helped dramatically change my business in that way because it made me much more accessible. It made Audacity coaching more accessible. How did he do that? That's creepy.
That's wild.
Like, I didn't selfie. My hands are here. Maybe he's using the phone.
Attached to a webcam that's not located on top?
Maybe
with a phone.
Oh, you're so cute. I was just like, why? How did that happen? But that was really game changing. And so at Blab's peak, which I always make fun of, is November 2015 was when those were the good old days.
No wonder my first two shows went off without a hitch.
In November. I missed November Blab. At its height, I had just wonderful discoverability, which is really really wonderful. But it was consistent. I came on, I turned it on, I started a show. It always worked. And that was the key. So now I know a lot of people are coming on here going, wait, this isn't working. And there's some quirks and it's not perfect yet. I don't need it to actually be perfect. But when you came on to the main page, it was professional feeling. Now, when you go over to Blab, it's less than professional feeling most of the time, right? It never seems to work, Wendy. I feel like my picture of my branded stuff is next to a stoner, there's, and which is fine, live and let live, but just not on my professional face, So those are the things. This doesn't have that social discoverability as much as Blab did once upon a time. It does have some. If you look at the app, you'll see that here's the app. Let's see if we update. You'll see that we're live right now. And you can see if you kind of scroll, I'm scheduled for Monday, right? And you'll also, if you look around, you'll recognize some of these names. I'm just saying some.
So the app, you see just who you subscribe to, or you see everybody?
Right now, this is everybody that's posting a public Huzzah stream. Right. It is for Apple, not for Android, correct? That is my understanding. However, most of the people using Huzzah, I believe, are using it privately. Because one of the things that's really wonderful right outside the gate is we can schedule these events password protected. So as a coach, as a consultant, the hundreds of things that I know everybody here does, you could have events here up to 6 people live, up to however many people in the chat participating privately without the whole world seeing, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So what would you like to see added to
my name
Huzzah?
And your name?
What is missing?
And they recognize
that
they're the fact that you're looking at these screens. So far, most of the people here know who we are, but eventually they're not going to, as we add different people, and it doesn't put our names. They're working on that and they're aware of it.
There is a screen share. Somebody mentioned in the chat about adding a screen share. I do see an option to share your screen. So that is there. I don't know if you need to be at a certain tier, but right now I'm on the free trial and I'm not sure exactly what tier that plays out as. I assume it's at least the $40 one.
Yeah. And screen share is a Chrome add-in.
Oh, it's a Chrome add-in. Yeah, because I added one on Fire Talk. I added a Chrome add-in, so I probably just do it the same way here.
Right. And Cherie is asking, do we get pinged when we put your name in our comment? Not yet. They're aware that we need that @ symbol so that we can kind of ping people. Mm-hmm. So that's not there. I personally love that props aren't here, even though I find myself wanting to prop people. I find it also kind of distracting in this weird kind of Darwinian thing over on Blab of so-and-so has 137 and he only has 72. And then there's those people who feel like they have to make them even. That it's just a distraction that we don't need. So that's one thing. What else did I want to? So yeah, the interaction with the participants would be really nice. Again, not a social network, but it would be really nice to be able to reply to what Jonathan says and make sure Jonathan sees that reply.
Right.
That would be really nice.
And guys, we'd love it if you would share this out to Facebook or Twitter so that other members of the community can start to find Huzzah and start to come over and join us over here, hopefully.
Nice.
What is your impression? You've done Blabs where you've got Blabs. Here we go again. We've done shows. I don't think we'll say you've done Huzzahs, right? You've done shows here. So what's your impression of the information that you get afterwards? You get a video that you can watch. Can you download it? Can you embed it?
So I actually embedded the video before the event went live. I put it right on my site, which was really very simple. For not this show, for the show I did on Monday. This show we put together in like 10 minutes. So I didn't have.
Yes, I know. I was going to say that was very impressive.
And you set it up so I didn't have the embed code. But you can grab the embed code. It comes in 3 sizes plus responsive. And my site is a responsive site. So I grabbed the responsive embed code and dropped it at coachjenny.live. And plugged it in there, and it worked beautifully. Before the show, people could go to that page and subscribe to the show, and then they could watch the show and participate from there, which is pretty stellar. After the show was over, and you'll see this, Ross, when you're done in the creator space, you're going to see all the statistics and a button that you can push to download the video. There is no button that says, okay, take the video and send it over to YouTube. Right now, that's a manual process, and doesn't seem like it's high on the priority of Justin and Nick, right? So that's a piece. But yeah, you get all of those statistics and that's quite lovely. The other thing that I found really, really special about this platform, unlike all the other ones I shop for, is email capture. Because when I subscribe to Ross's event that he's having here today, I'm now a subscriber of Ross's events. And so when I did my first event, 17 people subscribed. I was pretty excited. And then when I scheduled my second event, those 17 people were subscribed and a few more were added to it. So now, last I looked, it was like 22 subscribers.
So now all those subscribers will get email notification when I schedule an event or go live.
They get one when you schedule. I don't know the answer to that, but 30 minutes before the event, they'll get an email. And if I pay for the right level, and I don't know if the $9 level will have this, but the level I'm planning to pay for, I'll be able to download those emails, export them, and put them into my email list. So that'll be really cool.
And how's the quality, do you find, like from watching the video, if you've watched back on either the video they've downloaded that they sent you or watching the replay? You froze for just a second on my
but I think that was my internet.
Oh, okay. So what did you think of the quality versus, say, what Blab would send you afterwards with the Blab
It's
replay?
pretty similar. One of the quality features that I think is really nice is when you watch the replay, it's very easy to drag the line to speed up or slow down. Nope, you're not froze for me, Ross. You're good. And then the other thing that was kind of cool is the chat would show up when somebody posted that in the conversation. It wasn't just like the whole chat is there and you have no idea it wasn't aligned with the video replay. So I think that's kind of a nice feature. Other than that, I have no complaints. The only thing is there's no pause if you're having technical difficulties. You're live the minute you start until the minute you end. So it really is live video. There's no pre and post show action that's off the record. I'm sure you can edit that after. But I don't know if you can edit that for their embedded replay or not at this point.
Okay. I'm going to invite Jonathan to join us because he's been testing it. If he's
a day ahead of me, so
in front of a computer. And what is the notification? I get a notification. Here we go. Hey, John. Do I need to do anything to let you in, or you're just in?
As soon as you invite me, and I click start streaming, then I go live. So you invite me, I click OK, and it puts me into kind of like a green room. And then once I, making sure like my camera's actually facing me or whatever, I can kind of do like any kind of prep work, put my makeup on or whatever,
Chat with all the other stars waiting to go on there. This
is kind of my question. Is that if there are multiple people in and they're all in their own little green rooms, can they see each other? That's what I don't know, because I've only ever done that. Okay, so it's just I see what the screen is and I see my feed, and then I click start streaming and then I go live.
Right. And the thing that's weird about that, as blabbers who are used to Blab, the green room was a pop-up that was kind of like in the way of the whole screen.
Yeah.
And the green room looks exactly like what you guys are seeing here, except right about here, there's a button that's red that only, Ross can see them all, but only we streamers can see for our own box. And it says start or stop streaming. Yeah. So that's the only difference.
Wow. So have you done shows now, Jonathan? Have you hosted any shows? I think I might have even been on one. I'm trying to remember because I'm trying all the different platforms.
I did a show today and I had a guest, and I kind of did it like the one-to-one interview. And that was different. So today was Thursday. So today was Thursday. Yesterday was Friday. So yesterday was Wednesday. We had a whole bunch of people on, and I wanted to do kind of like a pre-prep show. Because it's like, how did it act? And I did that show directly from my webcam, directly in. There was no software in between. I wanted to see how it acted with other people. Today I had a guest on. We did a one-to-one, and I did use a virtual cam through a software encoder. So I wanted to see how that played. How did that? I didn't really get any tech issues involved. I mean, his Wi-Fi was having some problems, and then he was trying to come in, and it was a little bit of that, but it was good. I enjoyed the experience. It was good video, good audio. I didn't really have a lot of the same problems I have been having. I'll just say that.
It worked really beautifully. I watched most of your show.
Okay.
And then I hopped over to Karen's show to also help her get set up in case she had any troubles. And both of them just seemed really seamless and professional. Mm-hmm. But I can see the adjustment because Jonathan, you have your show, you usually have a huge show off the record before you're on the record. So that's an adjustment
it is
for all of us. Cause I do the same thing. I come on 10 minutes early. Can't do that.
Yeah. And this was another thing I found out today. What I did, I scheduled today's show for 10 o'clock. And then you've got, you have the broadcaster, you have the creator window, and then you have the viewer window. The viewer window is what everybody here is watching. And then there's a creator side. The creator side, like I click start stream before. I was like, oh, I'll do a pre-show, even though I know I schedule at 10. I'll just start it early.
Yeah, you're already recording.
It didn't let me start. I couldn't start it early, which is why I was like, I thought that, if I just click the start streaming now, that it would start it early. It did not. And I have yet to actually go back. I haven't actually literally had a chance to go back and actually look at the recording yet. You know, because we had the show, we had the after show, then there was the Q&A. I ate by 8, meaning I shoveled food down my throat. And then I saw this notification and I came up because I wanted to see how other people are doing it, because I haven't been on many shows. I haven't watched many shows. So that's what I wanted to watch for you guys. So that's kind of what I found is happening right now.
So when you compare this to other platforms that you've tried, are you thinking that this is maybe a leader for you in terms of where you may want to?
Yes. For me at my level, yes. The next level above this is where I get like a separate machine to bring in Skype, and I'm using like aligning satellites, and you know, I have like a team of production people, like my people, right?
Your people.
But for right now, but in all seriousness,
right now you just have the makeup people.
I have my legal department standing in the wings.
The gophers,
right? No, but seriously, like this is the now. I can do a show with or without software. That's the really nice thing about it. I can do it without the software, and now I get a recording, and then I can cut, splice, and do whatever. I know it doesn't record the chat, but when I do video, when I'm doing like an interview, which is kind of like what you and I do, Ross, and maybe a little less of what Jenny does, I have the recording that I can do what I want with. But there's also the community aspect where we can kind of chat like this. There is a chat, literally a text chat for viewers, and there isn't a lot of tech friction. It's very easy to get into. And then besides that, and then it's the integration with Patreon. And if you want, you know, you can do the tipping, which I think is a good option. I think it's a good option for some people where it's just like, hey, click, you know, that's helpful.
I'm still on the fence about the tipping, and yet I tipped you yesterday. So
yes, I know.
How on the fence am I? I don't know.
Did you have to actually follow through on that, or is it just a pledge?
No, I had to type in my credit card number.
Pull it like right out of your credit card? Or?
You can run and buy 2 cups of coffee with that.
Right. Dos cupos. That was Spanish for 2 cups. Right.
Thank you. Going bilingual here on
we simulcast. We multicast. But I mean, I think, you know, you guys bring up a really good point. Is that this is a good beginner first base level to do a show. You know, I mean, with the paid version, you get some of the embedding features, which is nice. And that's what I was actually looking at just as you guys were starting. It's like, okay, can I pre-embed? Is it a static channel? Is it like, Jonathan Tripp Live? And so I could put it on a landing page and it always comes up with that. I don't think it does that. I think because I have mine embedded. I don't know if it was that show or if it's my channel. Yeah, that's the thing. I think, I'm not sure. I just the answers, I'm not sure. But the way it looked like is that it's a show by show, so that I could make a blog post, take that embed code and drop it in there, and then I can drive all of my traffic to that, as opposed to how I have been, which is a static page, and then it's just an embed code that everybody just goes, you just catch whatever the latest show is, which is more like what Fire Talk is. This is more of a WordPress blog post style. But I think, again, think broadcaster, not necessarily just a running TV show. Like, I want to produce a particular show. So, I mean, and that might change in the future. I don't know.
And so even if you do a pre-show, post-show, as long as you keep it relatively professional, right? Like, okay, if you have to start, if you set your time, let's say for 9:50, right? You do 10 minutes of pre-show, you finish the interview, you do 10 minutes of post-show, 20 minutes. You can always cut that video afterwards and cut the pre and post off for embedding on your blog, for putting it to YouTube, anywhere else. And then if you keep it relatively professional, so people who want to come and see the pre and post show can watch that replay here, but at least for anywhere else you you put it, you have a clean version. Now I'm hearing a little bit of echo. Are you guys hearing
I'm just
an
trying
echo?
to double check
or
I
no?
don't have some other window open, but I
All right.
don't.
Did it just go away?
It did. Did you have more than one window open?
It is a little bit of me.
A little bit of me.
It's a little bit of me.
Wendy asks if you can make the links private and have your team do a show with you. Yes. When you schedule this event, it'll ask you, do you want this public or do you want it private that is password protected, which is quite lovely. I don't know this, but I really think that that's how most people are using this. They don't want all of their stuff to be public. It's probably more used like a traditional private webinar service. But yes, thank you, Dave. Private is only on the paid accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, Barb mentions you could set up 3 events, pre-show, show, post-show, but I guess that would be a lot of moving people around, right? Because it would be all being different.
I think I always use the pre-show as like my green room in Blab, and it was all one stream. We just hit the record button and stopped hitting the record button, right? So it was very seamless for us, and that would be kind of a good. I would see a positive in that if they change this platform and having that option where just because I go live, I'm streaming, but doesn't necessarily mean I'm recording. But I would say it in this way, like what I did today, and I didn't even think about it till we were in it. I should have just scheduled an after show. And
I like the idea of a scheduled after show.
But it pushes to all your subscribers.
Sure.
So Dave says when Nick adds the record button, it'll be just like we did in Blab. Is that something that they said they're working on?
Yep. Dave says
yeah. Okay, so that'll be a great feature when they do that. Another point Dave made that was interesting is the footprint on Firefox is 650 megabytes, but only 100 megabytes in Chrome. Super important if you use an encoder to capture Huzzah and then send to Facebook Live. Jonathan, you understand
it uses
what
less
that means,
system resources.
Okay, so you want to use Chrome if you
right.
can, if the quality's good enough. Yeah. Is that correct, Dave? Thank you. Thanks. That's great info to know. So if you can test both and go with Chrome and it works, then it's less resource intensive on your computer.
The oddity of trying to capture Huzzah and then capture and then send it out is that the sizes of everything changes. I mean, it's still just right. I mean, it's not like my screen size changes, but how big my picture is, and if we add like 2 other people, then they all get smaller, or if it's just me, it goes to full screen. That's a little difficult to manage. I'll be honest. That's a little because unless you're doing just a full out screen capture, kind of like how we did a screen share for the Blab today. I just dropped the link in. I just did a screen share. It's static. But if you're trying to get so that you can actually just see somebody's face and not, they're talking or whatever, so you're interviewing and you can do different things so that you can just it's just Ross or it's just Jenny as you're talking and just switch out. It's very difficult using this platform.
Yeah, I almost don't see how you can do it because the boxes keep moving around.
The way you do it is
right?
You just don't let people in for that part. That's the option because that's your control over where people are. I mean, that's why today during the show it was myself and Daniel, and that was it. So I could go back through and I can just capture, or I could have done it captured live. But I mean, Ross, your shows you have yourself, the guest, and then people come in. Jenny, you're having people pop in and all over the place. So I think for either one or both of you guys, it's just either if you want to restream it, then you just share the screen or share it just where the video is. I mean, you still have that option. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't. It's just
you can't add titles.
You have to do it in a third-party software. You have to do it outside.
I don't do any of that.
That's too. Again, that's kind of like where we talking about like the friction points for broadcasters. That's a friction point, but it doesn't mean that Jenny can't do it. Just
And one thing I noticed is when I click this public live event page, which lets me go from this creator back end here that I'm seeing to seeing what you guys are seeing. I noticed like one time before you came on, and then so even if I limited it to two, I think Jenny and I were on different sides at different times during the broadcast. So even if I pre-composed the shots and had the name, all the all the information set to go, I still might not be in the place that I thought I was.
It reshuffles the order.
Well, and they are working on adding, they didn't call it a lower third, but they are working on adding your name to the actual window here somewhere. And once they add that, I would assume that would follow those people. And so maybe the reshuffle will be less important. But again, I don't produce shows like you guys produce shows. It's we have very different.
And for me, like this stuff right here, at least on my screen, like the views and the shares and stuff, I'd like to see that up above the Q&A chat.
I agree, and bigger.
Does it? Well, for me, it's right here.
It's over on the other side for you.
Okay.
If you.
What stuff are you talking
the
about?
17
like
eyeballs and the share button and the full screen and the volume.
Right.
So it doesn't that because I'm thinking from a broadcaster side. I don't. That's not needed for a broadcast. That's needed that's a social share. So put it in the chat box. You know what I mean? Because I want pure video. I just want video with the video,
Right. Leland says put it by the
That's where I'd put it too, down there by the selfie button.
Well, that space fills up with the donation, with the tipping.
Oh.
Be another thing. I wish they would get rid of the cold beer.
They said they're changing the icons.
Okay.
Did you hear
I must have missed that part because I'm
the
like
icons right now are
but the rock on is okay.
They're like clapping a cold beer and then the rock sign because it was music.
Sure,
and they're
it made perfect sense. Yeah, that did. It was just it'd be really nice if you could put your own icons in.
Oh God. You would have coffee.
It'd be you're right. I was just gonna say it's like small, medium, and large. Yeah.
So if anybody else wants to jump on with us, just let us know in the chat and I'll invite you in. I'm hearing an echo again. Are you guys?
Didn't hear it.
And I have my volume way low.
Turn out.
There
you did.
Really be
you still hear the echo?
Are you still hearing it?
Comes and goes.
No, I'm not. I'm not
Maybe
hearing
you
it
just
on.
spoke really loudly.
Maybe a little bit now.
No, it's fine.
Who wants to come in?
So I don't know if anybody wants to come in, if we're bashful, if we just want to jump on.
It's all John's.
John doesn't have headphones on. It's speaker.
Because I take my mic out of my speakers, so I don't have a feedback issue with that.
Right.
No takers? Nobody wants to come in?
No takers.
Wendy, you want to come in, see how it works.
But I think the embed
Alfredo,
feature,
do you want to share your insights from the different platforms you've been trying
Dave
at
is
OBS?
coming in.
Dave's coming in. Okay.
I think the embed feature kind of going forward is going to be a really big thing. That's a very useful tool. In mastering that and figuring out exactly how that goes, I think that's going to be a really important aspect of it.
So Dave, did you get the invite? So while we wait for Dave, I don't know if he got the invite or not. I clicked on it. Just learning the platform like everybody else is. I think the embed is a huge thing because if you can have people be able to watch this on your website, then they'll come later and they'll sign up for. Oh, Dave declined to broadcast. Okay.
Send it again. Sometimes that's a tech issue.
Send the invite again.
I've seen it where people are wanting to sign on and they just can't. It's some kind of a script error. I'm sure letting Justin and Nick know, or Nick and Justin know, but
yeah,
they said they answered both names now. So
I really wanted to get them straight. I kept I think I have it. Justin is the guy with the slightly darker hair.
It declined again. So let me see if it makes any difference if I try Wendy. She said she got to get a drink and we'll come back in a minute. Maybe that minute's up.
Getting a script.
Yeah, that's And I don't know if it's because he was in my Wednesday broadcast. So I mean, I know it works. I don't know why it doesn't. I don't know what the not working part is.
I had to clean my cache out of Chrome to get in the other day. I don't know if that has anything to do with the script error because I don't know anything about anything.
And Don says, actually, yeah, why don't you try actually clicking the decline button? Maybe that'll get you.
So while we're waiting, tell us when your next shows are. When are your next shows and when are you coming back to
same bat time, same bat channel?
You're here
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
You'll be here.
Yeah.
And are you going to be on Facebook Live as well, or just?
I'm going to work on. I'm working on just the tech side of it, on both a broadcasting it out, but also then how do I want it to look? Because I want Facebook to actually, if I broadcast it, I want it to look different. I don't want it just to be this, just for lots of reasons. But I'd like to get it out, and if Facebook proves to be too much of an issue, then I'll put it somewhere else, and then I'll upload the video to Facebook. But I would like to send it to Facebook. And keeping in mind, you can only pick, if you want Facebook, you can only do it to Facebook. You can't do it to Facebook and to YouTube at the same time. So, and
that's some third-party software hack you're using, right?
It's a third party. I mean, you could use OBS or something like that. It doesn't have to be like $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, $20,000 piece of equipment. You can do it with OBS. You can just do a screen capture. I mean, in all honesty, Jenny, I mean, that's something you could do. You could just screen capture it. It's a free download. Just screen capture the thing, and then you could just stream it right to your Facebook. That
with OBS or with something
no, you
else?
could use OBS. I would just for what she does, I would just keep that live stream experience, just putting it on Facebook, and this way your Facebook audience can see it, because not everybody's going to come over to who's up.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely one of the considerations. So
now if you stream to Facebook, then you can't stream to other platforms?
Correct. Now it is. It didn't used to be that way. They changed their API up to close down. They want exclusivity in their broadcasts, in their live broadcasts. It doesn't mean you can't. You can upload a video to YouTube and upload a video to Facebook, and they're identical. They don't want you live streaming different things. So
who doesn't? Facebook.
So if you set your key to stream to Facebook, you won't be able to stream elsewhere, or you're just not supposed to. You're breaking it,
and they're shutting it down so that you can only do one or the other. That's what I understand, in to the point where I'm hearing and starting to hear where people that are streaming multiples at the same time are actually getting some of their are getting their account shut down or getting the ability to do it removed. That's what I've heard. But it's just what I've heard. And I mean, I would like to be able to do YouTube and the others, but I don't necessarily know if that's going to work.
Dave,
well, it's a System 10 or Windows 10 issue.
Windows.
Yeah, I just upgraded the other machine last night to Windows 10. Yesterday, I was on Jonathan's show without a problem. On this laptop, which I've got on the other side of the room, it's still running as Windows 8. So it worked, no JavaScript problem there, but definitely on Win 10. So I'll send in a trouble ticket to Nick and let him know that a conflict on bringing guests in. So there is a bug. We have found something.
Right. So now that you're here, you had a lot of great insights in the chat. I was just wondering overall impressions and what you think about this versus other options for people now leaving Blab looking for a new home?
Yeah, it's been a crazy roller coaster the last 3 weeks because I shut down Blab because of all the problems we all faced, and I started investigating everything. I mean, it's hour after hour playing, signing, going. Fell in love with this, a week ago, and was concerned because they were young, they're new, are they stable? It's going to be another shiny toy, and 6 months from now, I'm looking again.
Right.
So, as Jonathan and I said yesterday, the business model that I've got in mind is my audience and discoverability is going to be on Facebook. That's where our healthcare world is. That's where I want people to see. And why should it just be a replay? Why can't it be a live show? So I've been experimenting with Wirecast, grabbing this window and then pushing it over to Facebook. And then the guests, and because we have a guest, a co-host, and myself, and then we invite the audience in. So we need 4 windows all the time. So I like what Jonathan said yesterday. This is like, a Jimmy Fallon. We've got, 300 people sitting in this room. Well, in this case, it's 150 on the paid account. We've got 150 people live, and I'm going to simultaneously broadcast it to Facebook and tell people, if you really want to interact, come back into the studio. Otherwise you're just watching the show at home, and hopefully drive more and more people over here until, we see what the audience is like. But when I sent yesterday the message to them, because in the show we were saying, well, I don't know if I want to spend $40 for only having 150 people. I just shot them an email right during the show with Jonathan and said, look, why can't we have a tier with 4 people and, a smaller number of viewers? And this morning, there they are with the solution. These guys were listening. So I feel a lot better now about they will respond. And now I'll test them again. Hey, I've got a Windows 10 issue. Can't bring a guest on. Want to have my show. What's the problem? See how quickly they respond to the technical issues. Otherwise, I can't go live. And that's, a concern for me because I really want to use this platform and use Facebook on the pre and post show for smaller discussions. And I'm using Wirecast there with Skype call-in. So for my pre-show with my guest, people will be able to use Skype, come in, I'll broadcast to the Facebook channel, then bring the main audience over here for the full wingding show, and then post-show back to Wirecast with Skype call-in. And then I've got the best of all the marketing that I need, because on Facebook Live, all the videos I can target in the ad program that they have. So I can quickly isolate exactly who in healthcare needs to see our show. And, for $5 a day on advertising, I can get a couple of hundred people, seeing my stream as a paid component on the Facebook channel. So the blending of both of them has really got me hot on this. As long as they're technically stable, that's my only big issue.
Right. Leland makes a great point, really, to sum it up. Only the guests really need to be here, and huzzah, all viewer-only guests could be directed to a web page embed to fully participate, or like Dave was saying, to your Facebook Live broadcast. Now, one thing I'm wondering is, can you cap it at 50? In other words, can you, let's say you're 50 before you go into the paid. Is there a way to sort of shut the door before you end up? Or if your show, you hit a popular guest or something and all of a sudden the room fills up, you're on the hook for that payment. That's, because it would be nice to be able to just set a hard limit on the number of people in the room. And then, but I mean, I guess one way you do that is you just, like Leland says, you just direct everybody elsewhere.
And do they? And how do they catch those viewers? Because I mean, then why do I need anything? Why do I really need many of the services? I could just take the show, take the video, just embed it on a page, and I don't really need anything. I mean, and I'm not saying that that's like an option that I want.
You're losing out on the chat, basically, if you don't have some people in here, right? You're losing out on that, which is one of the benefits. I guess you could put a chat client on on another site or whatever, but it's getting more complicated now, you know.
Complicated is good.
It is.
Yeah, let's throw more things at it to break it.
Take a look at it this way. Why are we guys here? Why are we here?
Because we love to talk.
Then why aren't we on Blab?
We're getting existential up in here.
I know.
Seriously, why?
Because Blab doesn't work anymore.
Why are we not on Blab? Is that what you mean?
Exactly the point I'm trying to make. So you're going to have a show, and you're going to do it here now. You did it on Blab, and it blew up. Now you're trying to scramble. Okay, you should not do it anywhere like this. You should do it on a place like Leland say, your own website, place that you control. Use this to get the audience in there, but you need to have them go to the same place. And only if you don't pay your bills and your website goes down, then, you know, what can you do? But you should not rely on Blab. You should not rely on on anybody for that. This is great to have people together, but that's it. Not for a show, and especially not for a show that you are trying to be consistent with.
Not quite understanding your point, because I've been doing this since 2002 on lots of different platforms that constantly change, and so I just expect the change. But I need audience participation on camera. And, you know, when I used Wirecast with Ustream, I had complications. When I just used Livestream, it was a complication. When I moved to Hangouts, it was a complication. When I moved to Blab, it started to stabilize but blew up. So, you know, if all I want to do is a webinar, be on camera and let the audience watch and interact on a text chat, I've been doing that in lots of different ways, and it's stable and it works off of my website. If I can embed this on my website page, which is what I was doing with Blab, they participated right with my branding. It worked just great. But I need a tool that allows the audience in the text chat to be able to be invited into my guest discussion area. And I can't do that without a tool like Blab or whatever, or even Wirecast. I'm trying Wirecast with group Skype calls, and it's still awkward, but it works. Here, it's much cleaner.
Yeah.
And then are you going right with Skype to Facebook Live, or you broadcasting somewhere? Okay. Yeah. And so how are you finding, like, syncing up the calls with Skype? Are you using like a dedicated Skype machine, or? Well,
I've got two machines, one on System 7, one on Windows 10. So my Skype callers come in on the one box. Wirecast picks them up, and then I stream the collected program back over to Facebook Live.
And you're finding that it syncs up nicely, like the voice and the video and all
on
that
the
stuff?
Skype or on the Skype and Wirecast, yeah, because the latency is not a problem whatsoever. There's obviously a delay from the collection of the show over to Facebook of a few seconds. I mean, it is about 4 or 5 seconds. So when I see a comment coming in on the Facebook Live, it's lagging behind what we're talking about on our Wirecast show. But it's less of a lag than when I was on Hangouts and had the 5 people on screen, and I still had, you know, a 30-second, 40-second lag between the comments. It was deadly. So moving to Skype and Wirecast is not a problem.
And then you're taking your video right from the camera, or are you taking yours from Skype as well?
Yeah, the Skype video comes in. I merge them into a 2-shot, just like we've got a 6-shot here. So if I have...
So you're taking yourself from your webcam or from another camera, right? You're not taking yourself through Skype. You're just taking the guest through Skype. You're merging with your own shot. Yeah. Okay.
So if I have two guests of a group Skype call, I've got 2 guests there. I take their Skype window, split it in half. So then on Wirecast, I'm there, and each guest is in their own window. So I've got 3 guests, people interacting.
The problem with the problem you're seeing with that is that the Facebook chat isn't robust enough, right? For this kind of community.
Well, it's not their chat; it's the lag time from streaming it from me,
okay.
you know, out of my router over to Facebook.
So they hear you, and right.
Well, I see a big flaw in all this. I guess
that is
what I said before. You're talking about the chat. Have your own chat. Tell people.
It still lags.
If I may, though, I think the concern about...
I was using IRC, and I still had lag of 4 or 5 seconds. I don't have a difference in IRC or Facebook. They're about the same.
Well,
I think your point is to make sure that you own your own technology. Is that right? And I didn't get your name, by the way.
Me?
Yes, sir.
Amnon.
So I think your point is that you want to own the technology and have it on your site so you have complete control?
Right. Absolutely. I mean,
see, to me, I disagree only because what's more important is that I have an audience who's willing to go wherever the hell I go.
Okay.
And I'm pretty lucky that way in making sure that our content and the experience that we're creating is so epic that these people will jump from Blab to Fire Talk to the next, to Huzzah, to Hazoo, to Kalamazoo with me. Absolutely. Because I'm that nutty.
Right. No, this is fine. But when you have a play at a theater downtown, you can send people with those signs to all corners of the city. What do they say? They grab the audience from there and they tell them, you know what? Downtown, in that particular theater, there is going to be a play. And those who wants to see it can go there. I'm doing now 12 shows here in the studio. My show is on Sunday morning from 9 till 11. I get average of 7,000 viewers. Where they come from? Every other show that I do here, I started a new show Tuesday. He had 1,400 viewers. Where did they come from? They came from years of advertising to people that you come to the website and that's where you see it, and you come to the website and you sign into the chat. Now, did I not use Blab? Of course I did, but not as the primary. I hardly paid attention to it, but I simulcast it, and I made sure that the title said so, that it is a simulcast. I send it to YouTube and to Facebook and to Ustream, and I mean, like 7 or 8 different CDNs. I do it. Today, it's not really to grab audience. In the beginning, it used to be to grab their walk by audience and bring them here. Today, it's more for redundancy. So under my video on the website for that particular show, you can click on ConnectCast or YouTube or StreamUp or ULive. And excuse me, if one of those goes down, people can just click on another one. It's just like having a radio with 6 different frequencies. They're all broadcasting the same thing, but the chat never dies. Knock on wood. It's my own chat. I do it on my own servers. No, that's my phone. That's okay.
So how do you bring guests into your show? How do you take people from your audience on camera?
Just a second. Hey, let me call you back.
Okay.
How do I bring people into the show? The best thing that happened with Blab was the fact that they don't let you do the 16:9 anymore. Why? We did shows that were in 16:9 now for a long time. In Blab, it was in 4:4. You couldn't see everything. Told people, if you want to see it in HD and widescreen so you can see everything, come and here's the link. Facebook, same thing. You tell people where it is. They know where it is because it's on the Nissan Communications channel. I do it just because it's available, not because I have to. As a matter of fact, one of my co-hosts say, Anna, why do you even do it over there? Do it for like 10 minutes and then cut it off.
So on your show, how do you bring a person on camera beside you? How do you do a split screen?
To me. Okay, on my show, we do it with Hangouts. Because
you do a Hangout.
I mean, with Hangouts, with Wirecast and using Hangouts instead of Skype. Why do I use it instead of Skype? How many people do you have coming into the show together on your show that you are using Skype?
Be three maximum.
And what happened when one of them drops?
Well, the group call, you just reframe the show.
So if you framed each one in their own frame, suddenly you have a mess of things.
Oh yeah, I've got my switcher, so I've got to change
you're
it.
Gonna have, now, so you have to keep changing. Yeah. With Hangouts, there is no such problem because
I know. I used Hangouts for 3 years. I know the Hangout process.
Can I jump in here, guys? I just want to check in because we advertise this event as talking about first impressions of Huzzah, and we've gone way off the rails.
Okay.
Any chance we can reel it back in and get your first impressions of Huzzah? I want to bring Wendy into the conversation too. She's been very patiently hanging on, and this is your first Huzzah. Is that correct?
Definitely, and I am loving it. I think I agree with Jonathan though. Moving over here would be great, but I am really going to miss that pre and post show recording feature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I really like to come on, have a few minutes with my audience, and then start and then stop when we want to, because we use the blabs that we're having over on the website for content, and there's just parts of that I don't want, and I don't want to bring over. So I think it'll be extra work, but this is wonderful for us.
Hey,
Russ, you want to stop the broadcast?
I'm trying. It won't let me.
My computer won't recognize it.
Amnon, can you boot yourself? Or
Amnon, can you hang up?
but I'm on the phone. Hold it.
Wait.
I can't X.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Thank you. We're like in his phone call. Awesome.
And is there a mute feature, like if you wanted to mute yourself?
Yes, you just highlight yourself, like put your cursor over, and then it's in the top right-hand corner, about there of your window.
Real quick, Wendy, because this might be of interest to other people. I can stop the broadcast on the creator screen, the top 4 people that I see. So myself, Jenny, Jonathan, and Dave. Mm-hmm. But for you and Amnon, who are on the bottom on my creator screen, I cannot click the broadcast
button.
button.
Stop streaming in my, I can barely see it highlighted now, up above my head.
We all do. So that's how you click yourself out.
Right, Jenny. On the creator side, I have this big stop the broadcast button, and it's not, for whatever reason, clickable on the 2 people on the bottom.
Wow.
So anyway, that's why I couldn't let Amnon go when he had the call. So anyway, sorry, Wendy, go ahead.
Oh no, I mean, definitely we want to learn what's going on with the platform for sure. Mm-hmm. So, Jonathan, how do you see a way around the post and pre-show with this since you've used it?
The pre-show is going to be hard because it's part of at least the way that I've done it is that I've always used the pre-show as kind of like working out making sure everybody's okay and the sound levels are okay and all that kind of stuff before I start. So I mean, I might end up probably having just to do it live.
Yeah.
The post show, you can do your after show. You could actually just schedule another one or just let it run. But the downside of just letting it run for a platform that continues to record is that you record all of that as part of the whole. Exactly. And for those that are watching the replay, I don't want them to come into like a 3-hour marathon, session. I want them just to be able to come in and catch my interview for the day or for whatever the show structure is going to be. Mm-hmm. And then it's done. That's it. That's what I want to embed out. I don't want to necessarily embed out the after show. As a matter of fact, I don't want to embed the after show.
Yeah. And that's
for only people that's right here.
But here's the thing, you guys, reminder, this is not a Blab replacement. It's not a social media network. It's different. It's a professional creator platform. And so the pre and post show thing that we're used to as Blab blabbers just might not work the same
Right.
here, might need something different, right? And so
we have to kind of condition our audience to we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I think my audience is going to be thrilled that I'm not doing that shit anymore. Let's
Yeah.
just be real about that
No,
for a
and
minute,
that was-
because it's
that's
all
exactly
about
right.
us. Let's be real. It's all about us and hanging out, and it's really fun, and that's awesome, because guess what? We can go and chill on Blab if we want to with an after show. But let's produce some quality content
There
around
you
here.
go.
I think that's what the audience really deserves. It's not a social media site, so it really is designed for professionally produced events and shows and experiences.
And I was
I
kind of
personally
sharing that earlier. I think that now that Blab has kind of gone down, so to speak, it's forcing us to, for those that want to continue to do a show, it's forcing us to build a list or build an audience that's not being brought by somewhere else. Meaning, like, just because Blab was there, a lot of us just relied. I mean, myself included. This isn't like, I'm talking like, down to everybody. It's more of like, we developed an audience on Blab. Well, with Blab going down, now this means that we've got to really network out. We've got to spend the time and cultivate an audience and start bringing them in and whatever. And then the next part is actually having just a show. Like you said, it's not a social platform, it's a broadcast platform. That's why I'm looking at just kind of going, well, this might actually be the really great time to look. I start at a certain time and I finish at a certain time. And that means that when I'm done, I'm done. And then schedule an after show where you just push, it's like, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining. See you later. I'm going to go over to the after show.
Yep.
End show.
And I think that would be really fun too, because you can have an after show and delete that recording after it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And people can come to the after show, kind of hang out, do all the things that you enjoy doing, but it would be discreet and separate and then delete it.
Yeah.
And not stay on, not stay on your page forever. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to produce more quality content and just, up level and upgrade the experience for your audience. Because I think one of the things I have fallen in the trap of over on Blab is getting too damn casual, right? Like it got really casual.
It's so easy to just almost forget you're on air, right?
Yeah, you're just kind of hanging out with your friends. You click a button and you're like, oh, what's Wendy doing? Oh, she's at something. Oh, that sounds weird. I'm going because Wendy's there. Which is fun. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. I loved it. But this is not that. And so if you love Huzzah, we have to, be on Huzzah. That wasn't English. Dave, you're nodding. I appreciate you agreeing with my brain fart there.
No, I think you're dead on. It's a new way of thinking. I mean, we started with, last summer, I started back in July on Blab and had to rethink what Blab was about because I had just come off the Hangouts environment.
Me too.
And so there was a big shift in my head of what am I going to do? And now I think this is a different shift again, particularly with the Patreon interface, because one of the problems, because our shows are all about cancer, it's about, can we monetize fundraising events? And I think Patreon would be a way that I can demonstrate to the nonprofits I'm working with that a Huzzah environment with a Patreon interface would be a fundraising tool. So it has to be professional. It can't have the beers. It can't have the tipping. It can't do the social things that I was seeing on Blab. So I couldn't go in that direction. This allows me to move into other directions, and as long as they're responsive, if I find a Windows 10 problem, I got to get it fixed. Gonna not have a show if I can't bring a guest on.
Yeah, there was a chat. Somebody in the chat, I think it was Shay, said that she's also watching this right now on Windows 10, and she was on a show yesterday on Windows 10. So I don't know if it's specifically Windows 10. There's more to be sorted out there.
Yeah, I'm watching it on Windows 10. I've got both Firefox and Chrome open on the Windows 10, and viewing is okay, but the invite doesn't do anything on the JavaScript.
Wendy's on Windows 10 though right now.
Yeah, I'm on Windows 10, and I got an invite from Ross, and
it worked.
Yeah.
So there, I don't know what that
there's a
connection is. So
driver.
something to look into.
Going along with kind of what everybody's saying, and I think Jonathan really kind of hit on it. Was that I think the change is good now. I mean, I think this is going to make us better broadcasters. I think it's going to make us maybe better at community building because it requires more concerted effort into what you're doing rather than just, okay, I'm just going to spray and pray with my posts and so forth. And even just like in looking at who's come over to watch this broadcast, it's people who are either serious about producing better content than what was sort of on Blab in general, or people who are interested in consuming better content. Mm-hmm. And so I think while there may be a little bit of a step back in terms of audience numbers in the beginning, what you're going to get is ways that those of us who've been doing this now for 5 months, 6 months, 8 months, a year, whatever, are going to be able to kind of coalesce around a community that's looking to step up their game and do more with it than what we were doing on Blab. So, I mean, I think that's a real positive about whether you go to this platform, you go to Fire Talk, you go to Spreecast, you produce it yourself completely with Wirecast or OBS, and go out to Facebook Live or wherever. I'm just seeing like a lot of people are now thinking about how they can do, not only continue doing what they were doing on Blab, but how can they do it better? How can they provide more quality, better quality audio, better quality video? And so, I mean, I think in the long run, this is going to end up being a good thing for those of us who really want to do either do quality content or watch quality content. And those that, you know, were just playing around, well, a platform such as this one, at least, probably isn't going to be where they end up, right? They're going to find another place that's sort of Blabbish, right?
Yeah, and I think, too, the fact that you can monetize this now is definitely going to have us stepping up our game as far as our content and the way that we're delivering our shows, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I totally agree. I think all of that stepping up our game is a very positive direction to step up the quality of the different broadcasts that people are doing. But I want to echo what Leland said. He says, I believe Justin and Nick's, that's the founders of this platform, their take on discovery and controlling trolling behavior should be commended. I completely agree. A lot of people are asking, how will we get discoverability, right? Because too many of us are trying to make this the new Blab. It's not Blab. It's not a social media network. And so while they're paying attention to that, and there is some discoverability on their app right now, they're being really thoughtful and careful about making sure that doesn't happen so we don't have trolls. Right now, everybody that's here, we want them here.
Right.
Right?
And that's one of the things you can look around and see. And I mean, even though right now I can't click on like a profile, I know the faces, and I could probably go down through here. It's like, okay, I know you. The issue becomes, even when you may know somebody or you're familiar, the moderation side of it's you still need, again, we're coming back to the issue of you need to be in control of your broadcast. Right. And I think that's really the emphasis. You need to be in control of your broadcast in a way that, you can control not just where the conversation goes, but, who's allowed in, that they can't call in, you invite them in. You understand that's significant change.
Massive change. Remember how excited we were when we could lock the seats in Blab?
Yeah.
Because we were like, finally, I won't be distracted by that guy trying to get into this damn Blab. That was a huge moment. But then when you unlock the seats, it's a free-for-all again. Who's going to try to get in there. And you get to decide yay or nay, but still, that was distracting. And now the host gets to invite them in. We did ask, though, I think it would be nice to be able to have some sort of like private to the host hand raise. I'd like to come in instead of having to verbalize that. That would be nice.
There is the Q&A feature, so I don't know whether that is only from before the show or can people put questions in during the show?
All the time.
They can do it right now. Here's a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now you can see the question over there. Everybody can see it. They can vote on it. And then and you can add it to the actual... There you go.
So then I show it to the audience. Now, if I click it off, does it still stay on for the full minute? If I click it off mine, so you guys are still seeing it.
But we can each individually click it off when we don't want to look at it anymore.
That's a really cool feature. And then as the host, you can decide if you want to invite that person in based on the question. Just say, we'll bring that person in and they can ask the question live or whatever. So,
right.
And the question can be up by the audience.
Right, so people can vote. and it'll rearrange the questions so you can see the questions that the audience most wants to be.
Yeah. And this is again where we kind of get into where it's Blab-esque, but I don't want to see, and this, the problem is that like our mindset, and I think somebody brought it up in Blab Nation. It's like when something went wrong in Blab, we blame Blab. Now when something goes wrong, we blame that person. Oh, it's your machine. It's not Huzzah, right? I love that mindset. Right. And I want to make sure that I'm starting to think about like things like these questions, like the Q&A, because I would like to be able to see that once I've asked the question, I'd like it to shift so that I know I've asked that question.
Yeah, it'd be nice for it to disappear.
Or I X a question out in case like someone like they copy and pasted, they're doing something else and they copy and pasted 10,000 characters of code and they hit enter. Oops. I want to be able to delete that, right? I mean, these little things that we're kind of used to doing, they're Blab-ish, but I need to get away from thinking those terms, and I need to think of terms, what's a feature that I would like to see, and let them know. But overall, that's a great way. I'm not sure that I would put that up on the screen for everybody to see if I'm doing a screen capture to send it out to Facebook Live, because it covers up everybody that's underneath. It covers up their face. I don't want that, and I don't want that experience to be elsewhere. But that's just me in the way that I would use this platform.
Right.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Two things actually. Are we able to screen share like we could on Blab?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't see how you can do that. And then
only the host. Only the host.
Only the host, and it's a Chrome extension that you add in.
And then it gets recorded.
And then how are we following up? Like we're inviting people with the link to come here. How do we know who's joined us and we can follow up with them? Is there any way to do that?
You put the link out, who clicked the link and who's actually in the show. Is that what you want?
Yeah, like people who have come to the show so I can be sure to make sure they're invited again.
Well,
we've got an email list that you get.
That's not a visit.
That's if they subscribed, right? It's different. Mm-hmm. So when you schedule an event ahead of time and you have some lead time up to it, hint, have lead time up to your events normally. Sorry, Ross, we didn't do that this time. People can subscribe and put in their email address, and they are then subscribing. Now, in the talk with Justin and Nick a little bit earlier, they haven't added this feature yet, but they are working on a feature where you're in here live right now. You could subscribe to Ross's show. So anything he does from now on, you could do. Right now, you can't do that. If you go to Ross's site, which would be huzzah.io/RossBrand, if you go to that, this is live right now. It's like taken over. So there's no place for you to be like, I want to make sure I never miss another Ross until he's gone, right? But then when he schedules the next one, you'll be able to put in your email address. Once you put in that email address, it's there. Mm-hmm. So when people subscribe to my event that I hosted on a couple days ago, just yesterday, it doesn't matter. Those 17 people were automatically subscribed to the one I'm hosting on Monday. And so now it says there's 22 people subscribed, even though I know that only like 4 more people, that was bad math, 5 more people have subscribed. Does that make sense?
Do you know if there's any plans to have this email list to where we could hook it to autoresponders to be able to?
I don't know that there's a plan for that, but you can download it, the paid version, you can download it to a CSV. Thank you. CSV download. And then I can drop it into my autoresponder or into my mail program.
But what's really nice about that is that you can push them forward. So I had 15 so this is a really good example, right? Like on the first show that we did, right? There was like 93 views and 0 subscribers. Okay. So that was because we just started out. The next show, which was today's show, there was like 47 viewers and I had like 15 subscribers, right? But what's nice is that now when I schedule the next show, I can push the notification to those 15 subscribers so they know the next thing I'm doing. It's just, we're used to it. We're just used to it doing in a different order. It's just they do it when you subscribe, when you publish to the next one. So I think it's a nice feature. And again, we just need to be thinking in terms of, okay, these are the tools that we have, not like, oh, I really missed this feature from this other no-name platform. I want you to really start thinking in terms of marketing yourself, how to market it right, not spam it, how to market it right, and integrate your list that you've been building with the new list that's going to be growing here on Huzzah.
Huzzah.
I get it right.
I don't know. Well, I
think
totally.
they were just saying like Huzzah, right?
Huzzah.
Yeah,
They're on Huzzah.
They were deeply amused by the fact that we struggled to pronounce it. I love that. One of the
It could be
things,
really southern and it could be huzzy.
Huzzy. Well, there's an A there. It's not Huzzy.
Yeah.
Huzzah. One of the things that I think is really wonderful, though, is should I be like, oh, huzzah, tried it for a few weeks, whatever. I have those emails and I can invite all those folks to keep coming. So with the live streaming platform that shall not be named, the new Voldemort, I guess, I have to go through and tweet at all those people to say, please keep following me. You know what I mean? There's no way to really say, hey, guys, I would like to send a quick little message to the 1,400 of you to join me over here. And so this is better.
Yeah.
This is better. So not to, again, the comparison thing, I think we get like a couple more weeks of that and then we have to drop it. But let's take our couple weeks.
Right.
We have to have adjustment time.
We have to have.
This is my reading period. Okay, this is my morning process. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I was actually thinking, should we have like a Blab goodbye party or something? I don't know.
Oh, I buried it in the grave.
I know.
2.5 weeks ago. Just kind of said, "Get gone. No, don't want to go back. No fun."
Blab burial.
Blab burial. That's right.
Gone and forgotten. Let's wrap this up in about 10 minutes. So if anybody else wants to jump on and we just rapid fire, give us your thoughts. Are you going to use it? Do you like it? How does it fit in with what you want to do? Just put a note in the chat and I'll invite you in.
Yeah.
Has anybody talked about Patreon?
Don't all raise your hands at once.
Has anybody has anybody talked about the Patreon integration?
No, that is not something.
Plan on using a Patreon integration.
I think it's great. Just got to learn how it works here because I think it's going to be a great fundraising opportunity.
Say again.
Is that a separate account you sign up for?
Patreon is a completely it's as separate as Twitter is from Facebook. It's you can tweet to Facebook, but they're not the same company. It's the same thing. And just understand that. I mean, for me, I thought that was a great feature. Even if I don't use it, it's still a neat thing, right? Mm-hmm. As far as I know, it's the only way you can do it. I don't know. I mean, I haven't really investigated, but I looked at it as like, that's a really cool feature.
It is. And the shop feature. So I've already added to the shop that right next to where it says there's chat Q&A, there'll be a column called shop. You can click on that. You'll be able to buy one of my coaching programs. You'll be able to buy a book. You'll be able to.
Or my Cancer Sucks T-shirt.
There you go. I even put a free thing in there. I'm curious how that's going to work. I've joined my community with a little icon of my community.
Right.
So the shop feature is also really quite lovely, and it, I think it's tastefully.
John will be selling coffee mugs.
Coffee mugs. There you go.
Hey, do not dash the coffee mug.
Her hot chocolate mug, and you're forgiven. Okay, just so you know. Yeah, but it brings up a really good point. I mean, if I remember right, it's like they still take a 10%. Is it from the shop too? Right?
I don't know. Yep. I don't know about the shop.
I thought it was 10.
I know it's 10% from the tipping, but I don't think we actually discussed, and I didn't see where it said.
I don't think so, because when they click on the shop, they actually leave your site. It opens up a new window. So my shop has the Cathartic Chef Sesh. They click there, they're going over to check out one of my coaching sessions.
Gotcha.
So yeah, the shop is all yours,
Gotcha.
Including affiliate links.
Cool.
But the tips, they take their 10% cut, as they should.
Yeah, you know what I like? I just looked at their front page, and they already have the replay up on the website's front page. So if you go to huzzah.io, I mean, very transparent, very, very much. It's not hiding it in a medium somewhere or not really making it available because we didn't really want to do this. But it's very transparent, very professional so far. So that's what I'm liking, and I haven't decided yet to what extent I'm going to use this platform, but I'm just kind of calling it like I see it with different aspects of it.
It's a first impressions conversation. And, Ross, it'd be cool if you would have, because I'm obviously, as your co-host for Huzzah, I'm like sold here, but it'd be cool for you to have one of these first impression events on the different platforms that you've been considering, and having one of their rally crying people.
Let's do one on Blab.
I'm out. Dave and I will be over here.
We're all going to change our mind. You know, this Blab thing's good.
Yeah.
If they just would, stabilize the audio, the video, discoverability.
I'm still seeing people do their shows. They're like, it's my first Blab. And I just kind of go, oh.
Oh, that's sad.
You came to the party after all the drinks ran out.
Turn the lights out here.
Yeah.
Well, we may feel the same when we change our mind with the new toy in the summer. I mean, I know 3 more WebRTCs that are in development that are looking pretty good. So, it's going to be hard to decide, is this platform stable enough to stay, or is it just a temporary holding pattern? Because they don't give you their shareholder information. You don't know where their stability is. And even if they tell you they've got millions of dollars behind them, we've seen they can change direction. And you have no, capability of being stable. So I've always got to be looking at what's coming next. But for right now, if I go through the list of YouLive Now, Fire Talk, Crowdcast, Enterprise, or Expertise TV, YouNow, Zoom, Spreecast, this beats them all for me for the list of things that I want to go through.
Me too, hands down.
So, but there's more coming. So you got to make a decision. Is this okay? Can you get it going? And like you, I'm doing it. I'm embedded. I've been playing with it. I've got my coaches coming in. I want to teach them. Documentation is really sucky. That's why what Krishna did last night was amazing. I mean, she just went through all of the screenshots, what you do, what you can expect. I mean, that user perspective was just terrific. So now I've got 5 coaches that I can say, go through this, and then let's come online and let's get you up to speed so they can go out there. And then I've got a weekly show where I showcase them. So discoverability is going to come as they build their network with Huzzah and bring back into the main show. So, once you start thinking of as a broadcaster and you've got a tool that's stable, now you can let your creativity go and see what you can come up with. But it is new, and they said that, and that's what I like, is honesty, transparency, and as long as they respond, that's the key.
Wendy, Dave.
Yeah, Chris, it took forever. Yeah. I bet that was a huge report you did. You should post the link in there so everyone
I was just sitting there thinking, I'd love to see this.
Yeah, she did a remarkable job.
I tested.
And she was like us, just playing with it and said, I got to figure this out. And then she's a very analytical person, just runs through it all and said, this is it. And then was kind enough to push it out this morning. And there you go with something that you can now use to bring other people on board.
And with that signals the last 5 minutes of our show. So
that's right.
Wendy, Dave, John, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks on also in just a minute. Jenny, I tested Spreecast with Zeph on Tuesday night, and you joined us for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And that has a nice professional look to it, that platform. It has a lot of the things we loved about Blab, some of which I think it does better than Blab. It's very, very, very nice. But I found the audio wasn't reliable, and I don't know if you noticed that as well. But that's the only thing that would have stopped me from going like, "Yay, Spreecast! I'm going there." And I think the audio's so important.
The audio wasn't as sharp, and the full screen video that happens here at the beginning, I think is going to be, for my purposes, just really powerful to be able to be full screen and get the party started, and then have up to 5 other members of my community come in and experience whatever experience we're creating in that day. Right. I think it really just takes it to another level. This just feels sleek and simple, and there's zero wasted space. And so that would be my biggest comparison, because Spreecast feels a little more like Blab with lots of wasted black space or blue space or whatever. Here, there really is very little wasted space. As those 3 pulled out of the space, we weren't left as tiny little squares. We're now taking up the whole space. Right. I like that.
And Dave says Spreecast is Flash video, which is he thinks very poor, so that may have something to do with why the video. But really, it's even more so the audio, because people will listen while they're multitasking or they're in another browser or whatever, and when the audio cuts out, how do you continue having a talk show or a conversation with that, constantly? So I like this. I think Fire Talk's solid. I think it's a reliable platform. It's very professional looking as well. And of course, the ultimate is to do as much as you can yourself to limit the weaknesses of the different platforms. So, Jenny, tell us, when are you going to be on next? Right here on Huzzah?
Huzzah. Yes, I'm going to be on Huzzah starting on Monday. So next week, I'm rebooting my show, which has gone kind of quiet while I've been doing the same thing Dave mentioned, which is searching at all of these different all these different spaces. I haven't been hosting my Audacity Lab events nearly as often. But we're back, baby. We have a home now. So I'll be here on Huzzah starting on Monday, and I'll be hosting 3 to 5 different events a week.
And thanks so much for joining me and putting this together at the last minute. It was a great idea.
I like the impromptu. It felt very timely, and I'm glad that we just jumped for it.
Awesome. I will be on Monday night with Livestream stars. Chocolate Johnny will be joining me, John Capos, and that'll be 7 p.m. Eastern on Monday night. And right now we're set to go on Fire Talk. It's rossbrand.tv is where you can find it. That'll link to my Fire Talk channel. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. Hope this was helpful in figuring out if Huzzah might be a platform that you might want to decide to use as you go and search for other platforms besides Blab to host your shows and work on coming up with a new workflow and a new way to reach your audience.